Welcome to 3D Print Pulse, your essential weekly update from the cutting edge of 3D printing and additive manufacturing. Every week, we bring you the most important news and developments. The episodes are crafted by All3DP's expert editors and voiced by text-to-speech so that we can go hunting for news again. Ready for the latest? Let's dive right in.
In one way or another, we've all seen the futuristic promise of download your shoe designs, customize them, and print them overnight. But is it actually viable? All3DP senior editor Carolyn Schwar decided to find out. She spent a week wearing a pair of the Formism Art clogs, a design created by the digital fashion studio SCRY in collaboration with Formism. The model itself is impressive. It looks like a modern, tech-heavy clog, engineered with distinct zones for cushioning and grip. But the process of making them exposed the harsh reality of printed footwear. First, there was the filament fight. Bamboo Labs TPU90A is soft, too soft for the AMS, so you can't use the automatic feeder. Carolyn described the process as, quote, fishing, having to gently hand-feed the noodle-like filament into the extruder from above to prevent it from stretching like taffy. Then came the cost. Between the failures, the support material, and the high price of premium TPU, the project consumed nearly an entire $45 spool. That makes these DIY clogs twice as expensive as a pair of Crocs and almost the price of Birkenstocks. And the durability? That is where the dream really started to crack, literally. After just 1 week of office wear, the TPU began to stretch out, turning a snug fit into a loose shuffle. Even worse, the right shoe started to delaminate, forcing her to repair her high-tech footwear with low-tech duct tape. The verdict? It is a fascinating experiment that proves you can be your own cobbler. But until we solve the stretching and durability issues, Zappos doesn't have anything to worry about.
We have all been there with AI model generators. You type in Cool Dragon and you get a blob that looks great on screen until you open it in your slicer and find a nightmare of non-manifold edges and holes. A new platform called Hitem3D claims to fix this. Their promise is simple: perfect, watertight STL files that are ready to print the moment they finish generating. All3DP put this to the test by uploading photos of the famous Bavaria statue in Munich. First, the bad news. The artistic interpretation was interesting. The AI gave the female statue a masculine face resembling Michelangelo's David, and the lion beside her ended up with a strange, cheeky grin. It also took about 25 minutes to process, which is significantly slower than competitors like Meshi. But the technical results were shocking. The file wasn't a messy blob. It was a massive, high-fidelity mesh with over 1 million triangles. When dropped into Bamboo Studio, it had 0 errors. No holes, no flipped normals, just a perfectly watertight solid that was ready to slice immediately. The file was actually too detailed. We had to simplify it down to 60,000 triangles, just to make it manageable. The verdict? Hitem3D might not be an artist yet, but as an engineer, it is surprisingly competent. If you have to learn to live with a grinning lion, but at least the geometry is rock solid.
Multicolor 3D printing generates significant waste. If you use a single nozzle system, you are flushing grams of plastic down the chute with every color change. Snapmaker is trying to solve that with their new U1, a machine that All3DP calls a spectacularly caught Hail Mary in 3D printer form. The U1 isn't just another Core XY printer, it is a 4-head tool changer. Instead of purging filament to change colors, it simply parks one tool head and grabs another. This means 0 waste and significantly faster print times because it doesn't have to stop to poop plastic. At a pre-order price of $849, rising to $999 later, it is shockingly affordable. For context, the Prusa XL with 5 tool heads costs nearly $4,000, but this low price comes with compromises. The review notes that the build quality feels plasticky and cheap compared to Snapmaker's older, tank-like metal machines. The tool heads aren't quick swappable. You need a hex key to change a nozzle. And the auto-loader mechanism, while useful, sounds squeaky and scratchy, like it might break at any moment. However, the performance is undeniable. Once dialed in, the U1 delivers reliable, multi-material prints without the mountain of waste. It runs on Clipper, offers a decent 270mm cubed build volume, and even handles flexible filaments well thanks to a generous filament path. The verdict? It might feel a bit cheap, but it works. If you want true multi-material printing without the waste, and you can't afford a Prusa XL, this is currently the only game in town.
And now a word from our sponsor.
Are you an engineer or designer looking for high-precision CNC parts? Tired of waiting for manual quotes? Stop waiting. Craftcloud is your solution for instant on-demand CNC machining. Upload your CAD file, select from a wide range of materials, and instantly compare real-time quotes worldwide. Get the best price on precision parts, from rapid prototypes to mass production. We offer 3-axis and 5-axis milling, turning, and more. No minimum orders, just transparent pricing, fast delivery, and expert service. Craftcloud. We turn your CNC ideas into reality.
The numbers are in, and the 3D printing industry just hit a massive milestone. But if you look under the hood, the engine driving that growth has completely changed. According to the newly released Wohlers Report 2026, the global additive manufacturing market reached $24.2 billion in 2025, representing a solid 10.9% year-over-year growth. But here is the twist. That growth isn't coming from printer sales anymore. Companies are slowing down on buying new machines. Hardware sales and machine servicing accounted for 26% of the market, growing at an anemic 3.6%. Materials represented 20%, and software made up the remaining 6%. Instead, the real money is now in printing services. Services now make up a staggering 48% of the total market, growing at 15.5%. This data signals a major shift in the industry's maturity. Tighter capital conditions mean businesses are focusing on getting real production value and higher utilization out of the machines they already own, rather than constantly upgrading their hardware fleets. Geographically, the growth is heavily skewed. The Asia-Pacific region is leading the global charge with a 19.8% expansion, outpacing the Americas at 12.6%, and leaving Europe, the Middle East, and Africa lagging behind at 9%. The takeaway? The era of rapid hardware expansion might be cooling off, but the era of using 3D printing for true at-scale manufacturing has officially arrived.
Let's round off this week's podcast with news bulletins. Creality released the $319 CFS-C, enabling 4-material printing for K1 series printers without complex toolhead surgery. Instead of extruding purge waste through the nozzle, a rear-mounted buffer trims the filament and drops the clippings directly. This plug-and-play can port solution saves time and reduces nozzle wear. Materialise added custom-made PEEK implants to its European craniomaxillofacial portfolio, offering surgeons a lightweight, bone-like alternative to titanium. These medical-grade implants offer mechanical stiffness similar to human bone and are radiolucent, preventing interference with postoperative imaging. Manufactured by partner Admirables, the PEEK implants integrate into Materialise's existing digital workflow and feature a 72-hour turnaround time.
That's it from the weekly roundup from the world of 3D printing. As usual, you can find all the links in the show notes. Thank you to our sponsor Craftcloud, and remember, you can always find more in-depth articles, reviews and guides at all3dp.com. Don't forget to subscribe and leave us a rating or review. It really helps us to bring these updates to even more 3D printing enthusiasts like you. Join us next week for another rapid-fire update. Until then, happy printing!